Well, hello, folks. This is the Dental Marketing Club. Right at this present moment in time, it is 2 minutes until we begin the this month's live stream. I am just sitting here getting ready, waiting for people to arrive. So usually we run this stream on. Usually we run it on Facebook. But Facebook, bizarrely, is not allowing me to stream, and I've checked it out. There seems to be quite a few people having the same problems. So, stuff Facebook. We're doing it live on YouTube. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just checking to make sure that everything is up and running. And that everything is okay, ready to go. Yes, we look like we should be. We should be pretty much ready. So I'm actually just posting on Facebook just to say that we're live. So make sure that that post has gone. Yes, that post has gone. So let's log out of Facebook just in case people are checking the Facebook account. So we are now live on YouTube. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's really good. It's really good to be live on YouTube. So it'll be really interesting to see how this works. It'll be really interesting to see. It's the first time I've ever done a live stream directly onto YouTube. You should be able to see the video live. It will then store on my channel and also automatically go to my website. And you should be able to ask questions as we go. Let's see how this all works out. So this month, we are looking at optimizing a Google AdWords campaign. You know, I very often come across dental practices who are running Google ad campaigns, and those campaigns are not always particularly well optimized. So they may have set up a campaign, because actually running a campaign on Google or setting one up is actually pretty simple to do. It's not difficult at all. So we're going to look at a few things. We're going to look at improving performance for gender, for age, location, device, all the stuff that you can see next to me here on the screen here. And we're going to look at sort of setting up a campaign and how to get the most out of that campaign, really. If you see me looking around, it's because I always explain this, is because I've got a computer screen in front of me here with my presentation on. I've got YouTube live over here, so if people ask questions, I can see those questions. And I've got my mixing deck over here where I'm mixing together kind of the live stream software and everything else. So if you see me looking around, I do apologize, but it's because I'm trying to keep track of everything that's going on around me. Sometimes I wish I had a team that worked with me, but actually, no, scrap that. I'm actually quite happy that I don't have a team. It's good working on my own. So this is what we're going to look at. Over the next hour, we're going to look at the basic structure of a Google AdWords campaign. We're going to look at setting up a campaign, running advert extensions, and we'll explain what those are as we go along, and then optimizing for location, devices, age, and gender. And then optimizing for your search terms, perhaps putting in negative search terms as well as positive search terms, and then tracking those conversions, because it's absolutely pointless running a campaign on Google AdWords if no one takes action from that campaign. So tracking the conversions and making sure that it's actually effective is really, really important. So we are now live on YouTube. We will be so for the next 45 minutes or so. Please feel free to join in and say hello, ask questions. Even if you're watching this on catch up afterwards on YouTube, again, please feel free to ask questions as we go. So here we go. We're going to look at the basic setup first, and just this really just to run you through the very basic the way a campaign is structured within Google Adwords. So you have, as you can see here on the screen, we have the basic campaign. Then we have, within that campaign, we have ad groups. So we might want to group certain adverts together. So you can see we might have 2 ad groups within a campaign. And then within each of those ad groups, we may have a few different adverts that we split test. So just to make that a bit more kind of relevant, the campaign level is the level at which you set your budget. So when clients say, you know, what should I spend per month? And we set the budget of £1,000, £10,000, £10, whatever it is, that's the level at which that budget is set. So we may say we're going to spend £300 a month, £500 a month on orthodontics. So we'll have an ortho campaign. Then we may have various ad groups and levels within that campaign. So we may decide to run a broad kind of orthodontist campaign. So that is going for the keywords of the orthodontist in the local area, orthodontist consultations, etc. We then may want to have an ad group level talking about specific treatments. So you might want to have an Invisalign ad group level. You might have an Invisaligner. You might have a lingual orthodontics, Damon braces, however many different treatments you have. You can run those different ad groups within that main orthodontics campaign. And then at the advert level, say, for example, we might have orthodontist. We might do an advert for orthodontist in your local area. We may, if you have a consultation, free consultation, free orthodontic appointments, you may want run another advert that says a free consultation for an orthodontist, and so on. Then we have different adverts running for perhaps Invisalign. So you may have an Invisalign offer. You may have money off of Invisalign. You may have an Invisalign free consultation, and so on. So we can have multiple adverts that are driving traffic to various pages of your website. So we may drive traffic to, in that ad group level, the orthodontist page of your website. If it's about Invisalign, we may drive them to the Invisalign page. We may drive them to the Invisalign page, Damon braces page, and so on. And all of those adverts, all running together, are within your master campaign level budget, orthodontics, where you set your budget. And you can repeat that over and over. You may have an implant level campaign, an orthodontic campaign. You might have a teeth whitening campaign, or you might have a cosmetic dentistry campaign. You can have it however you want. So when you set up your your AdWords campaign, it's worth just sketching this out on a little bit of paper first, just to decide how you're going to structure your campaign. So rather than just start setting it up on Google and then get a bit caught out, think about it first, sketch it out on a piece of paper, and work out how you're going to structure your campaign. So the next one we're going to look at is actually going into setting up a campaign. So when we set up a campaign, this is how it'll actually look. And this is a campaign that that I've set up already. So this is already going for a client. So when you log in, you see the possibility to create and add campaigns. You've got the plus button. Click on that, and you add campaigns. So if we move a step further forwards, you can see, if I take my highlighter, you can see up here, we're in the campaigns level. We've gone through to Invisalign, and within Invisalign, we've got all of our various different ad groups running down here. And then we can go into that a little bit further, and we can have the various ad groups within that Invisalign campaign. So you can see that's how we've broken it down. We've got it broken down into a campaign, into ad groups, and then we've got adverts running for that ad group. So setting up a campaign, it's very simple. We simply go in and you click on the plus button to set up a campaign. It really is that simple. Once you've gone through to that stage, Google will then say select your type of campaign. And I think it's always worthwhile just having a little bit of a think about this as well. So what I want to do is just bring on my annotations here. So I am going to, if we go here, we can, usually it'd be best to go for this one. So reach customers and interest in your product or service with text ads. I would say if you're setting up an initial campaign, go with this one. It's the most basic one, and it's the simplest one to start off with. So once you've gone through that, Google will say, well, what's this for? What do you want to do? And again, it's to decide what you want to do. Now, generally, it's going to be about sales. Generally, it's going to be about getting patients to take action and come in to see you for a specific consultation. Now, sometimes you might not want to do that. You may want to drive leads. So if you're driving leads, select the next option down, and then Google will then automatically optimize your campaign for people inquiring at an early stage of their decision-making process. So if it's about sales, it's about patients wanting to take action right there and then about Invisalign. Leads would be, I'm looking for information about Invisalign and I'm not quite sure that I want to take action yet. Drive leads to things like free guides, and downloads that you have on your website. So if you have a download on your website, if you think back to what we've been talking about in previous Facebook Live events, if you go to drive adverts to a free guide, a free download, you're collecting that person's details via email, driving them then to the next stage by using those email follow-ups in an email follow-up campaign. Remember, I use Aweber to do that. So if that's what you want to drive patients towards, just to collect leads at this stage, and then use other forms of marketing, perhaps email marketing, to move them onto the consultation, then select leads. And if you just want brand recognition in the local area, select website traffic. But I would recommend that you actually go for sales. That will usually work better for dentistry and for a dental practice. Just to go through the next stage, just include Google search partners and add display network. So this is, you sometimes find that if you're looking at a blog or another website that you see adverts displayed down the side. If you tick that box, then your advert will be displayed on those other search partners as well. You can then select your local area. Now, I strongly recommend you select multiple local areas. Have I got that on the next slide? No, I have got it on a slide later on. But it's important that you select multiple local areas. So what I would usually do, so I live down in West Dorset in Bridport. So in this example, I'm showing select Bridport, and it will automatically give you other local areas. So DT6, that's a postcode down here, but go for postcodes around your practice. So multiple postcodes or multiple towns around the practice, and you can keep adding these. So you just click on target. So you click on the target button and add it, and then type in another one, target and add, and do multiple locations focusing around your practice. So decide perhaps you might say patients are prepared to travel 10 miles. Put multiple postcodes and towns in of that area, and I'll show you why that is important later. But it is really important that you have multiple areas selected, not just 10 miles. Do it multiple areas. And we'll come on to why that is important later on, but it is really important that you do that. Then you're going to set your budget. So in this example, we're saying £10 a day. So we then go on to the next stage, which is advert extensions. And Google will automatically recommend that you set up extensions. So it's important that you do set up those extensions. And extensions are in the advert. So you can see Perfect Smile Dental has created some extensions in their adverts. And these extensions are these little things that you see underneath the advert: Invisalign treatments, before and after photos for teenagers, and so on. And these can drive additional traffic through to specific pages of your website. They tend to stand out a little bit more than the advert, and people will click on them. So setting up extensions is actually really important to do. So Google will suggest that you do this. And if you've not set up site link extensions before, you'll be presented with this page, and you just click on the new site link extension. So for example, let's say you have your website and you have a request an appointment page. So we're going to be driving traffic to for Invisalign, and there may be a request an appointment page. So put in your request appointment. So you've got request appointment here, and you put a little bit of a description here, and you put the URL of your appointment page, and you click save. What Google will then do is when your advert goes live, it will take your headline. I mean, obviously, I've mixed this up. So this says social media for dentists, but obviously yours will say Invisalign, and we'll show you that in a moment. But here are the site link extensions. Request an appointment, 50% off. Now, what you may be doing is driving this to a page on your website, which is your Invisalign page. 50% off, that may be your offer. You may also drive that to the Invisalign page, but you may have a request an appointment page. You may drive that site link extension to your request an appointment page. And it just means your advert can be a little bit more dynamic. Your advert can appeal to people if they're in different stages of their decision-making process and allow them to take action in the right way. So it's definitely worth setting up these site link extensions for the adverts to get more sort of bang for your buck out of the amount of money that you're spending. And you can see the analytics. You can see the number of people that have clicked on those site link extensions, and it definitely does work. So it's definitely worth doing. So now we've set up our campaign and we've set up our site link extensions, which are going to show on all of our adverts. So remember, that's at the orthodontic level. We're now going to get down into the next level to this orthodontist or to Invisalign. So we might want to start, we can put in, let's say we're going to do it for the orthodontist page. So you put in orthodontist here, you put in your orthodontist page here, and you click on get keyword ideas and you type in orthodontist, and Google will give you a load of ideas that you can use for your orthodontist level. You can then move into add group 2, and you might want to in this section type in let's say we're going to be talking about Invisalign. This time we put Invisalign in here, and then you put in your Invisalign page, you click get ideas, and Google will grab ideas and tell you what you should use for your Invisalign ad group, and so on and so forth. As many ad groups as you want to set up. So Google actually makes it very simple for you. So you can see we go through to the Invisalign section. We put in the Invisalign page of your website. You type in Invisalign, and then Google will give you lots of alternatives. If you click on the plus, it will open up all of the keywords it's recommending, or you can just click add all ideas. I don't recommend you necessarily click that add all ideas, because as you can see for Invisalign, Google has come up with 6-month braces. Now you may or may not want to have 6-month braces. If people type that search term appear for your Invisalign ad, it's possibly not worth doing because they're not looking for Invisalign, they're looking for 6-month braces. But I'll leave that for you to decide whether you do that or not. So now we come on to create the advert. So you can see at the top here, we've created our campaign, we've set up our ad group, and we're now going to create our adverts. And Google will guide you through the process. So we're creating adverts for the first ad group. It will then say now create adverts for the second ad group, and so on and so forth. Now, a little piece of advice, or a little good thing to do, is Google will say, what keyword do you want to show? What do you want to show here on this advert? What I recommend you do is to use parenthesis. So open and close parenthesis, these braces here. Type in keyword with a capital K and a capital W, colon, and then whatever you want to show there. So you can see I've put Invisalign Bridport, and what shows is Invisalign Bridport. Now what that does is, if someone types in, let's say, orthodontist in Dorchester, for example. Let's say we are running adverts to display in the Dorchester area, and someone types orthodontist Dorchester, and it's that is a keyword that we're bidding on. Google will show that advert to them, but because we've put keyword, it will take the keyword that they've typed, orthodontist Dorchester, and insert it here. So the advert will look much more specific to whatever that person typed. So it will change Invisalign Bridport to orthodontist Dorchester, free consultation. Let's say they typed in cost of Invisalign, for example, and we're using cost of Invisalign as a keyword, it will automatically insert cost of Invisalign into this bit here, and it will say free consultation, and so on and so forth. If they type, what is the cost of Invisalign in my local area, that is too long to display in this section. So Google will then revert to whatever it is that you've put here. So in that instance, it will revert to Invisalign Bridport. So if the keyword they type fits, it will put the keyword into the advert. So that advert looks absolutely perfect for whatever that person typed. If it doesn't fit, it will revert back and use whatever we have put in there, which is in this instance is Invisalign Bridport. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to leave a comment and I will answer that question for you. So let's look at a little bit more. Let's look at Invisalign advert extensions. So let's go back to here. So we can add site link extensions. So we've already spoken about adding site link extensions. You can also add call extensions. So when you click on the plus button, so click when you've gone through and set up all of your adverts, go through to this adds and extension section and click on the plus. You want to add your site link extensions if you haven't done already, and add call extensions. Call extensions will give you the facility to put your phone number in. So when the advert displays, it will display a little symbol of a phone, and it will show your phone number and give the opportunity for the person to click on that phone number to enable that person to phone you. Message extensions only works off of mobile devices. So in that instance, if you put a message extension in, click on the plus and add a message extension, it will put in send this customer or send this business a message. When they click, it will open up the text messaging app on their phone and allow them to type a text message to you that will send through to your mobile phone. So it's another way of enabling someone to take action on that advert. And the location extension, that will link into your Google Maps listing. So you need to make sure you're running the ad account off of the same Google account as your local Maps listing. And it will then join your advert to your Maps listing and make sure that your Maps listing comes up as well. So it will show the location of you in your little advert, and it just makes that advert, it gives them multiple ways of someone taking action from that advert, and all of that is then trackable. So you can see the number of calls that you've had from that advert, the number of people that have gone through to the website and perhaps taken action that way, the people that have clicked on the send a message. So it just makes it easier for that person to take action on the advert. So moving swiftly along. I then recommend, once you've got all of that set up, you allow your adverts to run. My suggested time period is about 3 weeks. You can do it in a little bit less than that. You can do it run for a couple of weeks, but certainly for at least 2 weeks. So allow your adverts to run for a couple of weeks. That then allows you to gather some data. So you can gather some data of who's clicking on those adverts, when they're clicking on those adverts, and what is happening from those adverts. You can then start to hone it and look at that data and refine them. And that's what we're going to look at now. We're going to look at refining your advert once you've got some data. So we've created our campaign, we've created our ad groups, we've created our keywords that we've put into those ad groups, we've put our site link extensions in, we're running those adverts to multiple areas around the practice. Pretty much all of that will be guided through by Google. Google make it very easy and they guide you through setting that up. Very simple to do. So let's move on. Let's move forwards. So what we're going to look at now is optimizing for different aspects. We're going to optimize for the location first. So remember I said to you, it's really important for you to put in multiple locations around your practice. This is why it's important. So you can see, for example, I live in down in Bridport, and if I was running this advert, I've put in local areas. I put in Bedminster, Dorchester, postcodes DT1, DT2, DT3, DT6, a couple of towns, Lyme Regis and Weymouth. And you can see on this map, I'm probably about here of Dorchester, and you can see we're Bridport, and we're attracting that's Dorchester. This would be Lyme Regis. Weymouth is down here, and these surrounding areas and postcodes. Now, the reason that's important is because what Google will then start to do is Google will then show you the number of clicks and the click-through rate and the cost per click of each of those individual areas. What you might find is, for reasons totally unknown to anyone out there, except the individuals themselves, you may find, and you more than likely will find, that there will be certain areas and locations which get more clicks than others, that get higher click-through rates. In other words, when that advert is displayed, more people click on it. You can then look at the cost per click and decide, well, hang on a minute, Dorchester, for example, for some bizarre reason is getting more clicks and the cost per click is lower. Okay, so the cost per click is lower and more people are clicking on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my budget adjustment by 10% on that day. Now, what that means is increase your bid adjustment, not your budget. So it increases your bid adjustment. So in other words, if you have said, I've got my overall budget of £10 per day, for example, and I'm going to bid £1 for every click for Invisalign, it will increase that bid to £1.10. So it'll increase by 10% if that person is in that local area in Dorchester. So it just means that you can start to really optimize that campaign to make it work better in that local area. But it only works if you put all of those local areas in the beginning. If you just say 10 miles around the practice, you'll have one targeted location, 10 miles around the practice, and it doesn't really give you any usable data. So put multiple areas in, and you can then optimize for those areas, the ones that give you the most amount of clicks for the cheapest price. We're then going to optimize for various devices. So let's look at that. We've looked at optimizing for a campaign. We can also optimize for devices. So let's look at that next stage. So when we optimize for devices, you click on the devices tab on the left-hand side. So before we were clicking on locations, we're now clicking on devices. So we click on devices and we can see the devices. Now, this is a test campaign that I've set up and run. So nothing is rung in here, but you'll see exactly the same. The number of clicks, the click-through rate, the average cost per click. And you might find, wow, look at this. People seem to be looking at this advert on mobile phones, and we get a massive number of clicks and a highest click-through rate and the lowest cost per click from a mobile phone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bid adjustment for mobile phones and up it by 10%. What you can then do is let that campaign run for a bit longer and then dip back into it in a week, 2 weeks time and see what adjustment that's had. Has that made a good adjustment? Are you getting even more clicks? If so, make another bid adjustment. So we're really now fine-tuning that campaign. And the final one, no, it's not, sorry, we've got two more. We can look at age. This is an interesting one, especially for dentistry. We may find that we get people clicking on for different age ranges. Firstly, that get the highest number of clicks for the highest number of click-through rate at the lowest cost, so we can optimize for that. But we may also think, well, hang on a minute, I'm getting lots of people, so, sorry, by the way, we've clicked on the demographics button here on the left. We might find that we get a load of people in an age range that actually, when we start to think about it, we may think, do you know what, this is actually not a very good age range. We don't want people aged between 18 and 24. clicking on this particular advert. So what we can do is we can tick 18 to 24 and then click on exclude from ad group. Doing it that way means that, assuming Google knows the age of those people, it will, excuse me, exclude them from the ad group, and it will exclude them from seeing the offer. So this is the ad group's offer, special offer 2018. It will exclude them from those people from seeing that advert. And it just means that, again, you're refining your advert and saying, well, actually, I don't want it to be shown to 18 to 24-year-olds. Now, this could be specifically important or useful, let's say if you're running a dental implant advert. So you may want to really focus the implant advert on people over the age of, say, 40. So we can exclude everyone below that age, assuming Google knows that age, from that advert set, and really hone that advert to make sure it works better for you. And the final one is that we're optimizing for here is gender. So we click on demographics, and again, we can click on female or male, and in some cases it's going to be unknown. And you might find that the click-through rate, or the average cost per click, is the highest number of clicks with the best click-through rate, and the lowest cost per click is for females, in which case you might think, let's optimize the advert. So we can click on bid adjustment and increase the bid for females if Google knows the gender, and for females, and ensure that that advert is shown better to females or to males, or to unknown if you really want to go to unknown. So this is because Google knows the age and the gender of most of the people that are bidding, primarily because people remain logged in to their Gmail account. If you log out of your Gmail account and make sure that you're browsing without letting Google access the cookies on your web browser, then it won't know your gender or anything about you. So we can't do that. And more people are doing that. And unfortunately, as people hide themselves from the internet as they browse for various reasons, we're not able to be as specific. So in that case, that's when Google will show this unknown section. Okay. Search term optimizing. So sometimes we may be bidding on terms that we don't particularly want. So we can optimize for search terms. So let's have a look at that. So if you click on the get my pen again. If we click on the keyword section on the left-hand side of your AdWords interface and click on search terms, so you'll see at the top here, you'll have search keywords, negative keywords, and search terms. If you click on search terms, that will show the search terms that your advert has been displayed for. So you can see this is within the campaign Invisalign. So we've got a specific campaign for Invisalign. Our ad group is Invisalign cost. And bizarrely, best dental implant dentist has been shown for that advert. Now, that has been shown, it's been clicked on once, it's been shown twice, but that has cost us £3.96. And we don't want that. We don't want that to be shown in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that. So we tick the box and we add as a negative keyword. So we just, here's another example. Cost of Invisalign braces at St John's Dental Practice, Romford, Essex. Apologies if you are St John's Dental Practice, Romford in Essex, but we don't want to be bidding on you because we're a different practice. So we want to have that as a negative. We don't want to be shown for that. So we click on it. We click on add as negative keyword, and then you can see it then comes into our negative keywords, and these are the ones that we've added as negative keywords already. So you can see NHS. This particular practice is not an NHS practice, so we don't want to be shown for any keywords that have NHS in them. And it just means that you are optimizing your campaign much more specifically and being much more precise about your campaign. If you go to the recommendations tab at the top, Google is actually really good at making recommendations for you. And it will say, why don't you add in new keywords? You can add in add additional 39 clicks if you add these in. Add these site link extensions. Do this, do that. Add call outs to your ads. So Google will prompt you through this process as well. So it's actually very good. And I would recommend that you do go to the recommendation section and click on that section and see what Google says. Now, the last bit is we're going to be looking at tracking conversions, because all of this is absolutely pointless if we don't track conversions and actually make a difference to the practice. So tracking conversions is really, really important. If you click on the settings icon at the top of your page, at the top of the screen, you will see conversions. If you click on conversions, you will be taken to the next screen. Now, what I want to show you here is just a bit of a reminder about the conversions and why it's important and how this is going to work. So we need to define what do we call a conversion and what is someone taking action on our website. Remember, this is linking back to some of the webinars that we've done before. The first stage that someone is going to be thinking about is they have a problem that they've become aware of and they've recognized a need to solve that problem. So it could be, I've got missing teeth. I'm going to go on Google, start finding out about missing teeth. It could be that they have realize that they have crooked teeth. They may decide that they want to go on Google and they want to resolve their problem about straightening crooked teeth. So they do an information search, they go to Google and they land on a Google advert, or they have an advert displayed to them. Now, it could be that they are also wanting to evaluate the various alternatives. So they may be looking for alternatives to treatment. So if they want to replace missing teeth, they might be researching implants or bridges or dentures. Or they may be looking at treatment provider alternatives, so different dental practices. They may also be on Google looking to, because they want to make a specific purchase. They may have gone through all of this and actually saying, right, that's it. I want to make a purchase. I'm ready to go. And the final one is post-purchase evaluation, which is leaving reviews. And we're not going to look at that at this stage. So for the information search, we've got download of a free guide. This is linking back to the one of the previous webinars where we talked about email marketing. We're going to be looking at the evaluation of alternatives. This is where your free consultation comes into play. This is where download of a voucher for dental health checks comes into play. This is where refund of initial assessments come into play. And the final thing is the purchase. This is where the new patient appointment comes in. Now, this is where your conversions come in. So this is where it's really important that you link your advert campaign to your Google account. So you need to have a Google account for your adverts, and you need to be running those adverts off of the same Google account. And you set up conversions. And the way you set up conversions is by doing it in Google Analytics. So if you go to your analytics account for your dental practice, you click on admin at the bottom and you will see a goals section. Click on goals and let me just remove my image from that so you can see that better. So you click on the goals and we can say, okay, what are our various goals? And our goals are going to be linked to what we were thinking about before. So our goals are going to be linked to downloading a voucher. Goals are going to be linking to downloading a free consultation, to requesting an appointment, to downloading a free guide. So let's say this goal is about an appointment request. We we type in here the thanks appointment. So this is how it's going to work. They view the contact page. They may view they may complete the appointment form. Once they do that, it takes them through to a thank you page, and that's where our goal is triggered. So you put in your thank you page for when someone requests an appointment. You know that you charge £35, so that goal value is £35. And we're putting in a funnel. So this is our contact page. So they view the contact page, and this is the page that they view, the contact. So we've got a little funnel set up. So they view the contact page of your website, they complete the appointment form, then they view the thank you page. That is then set up as a goal. What you are then able to do is to look in Google Analytics, and Google Analytics will tell you the number of goals that have been triggered. In other words, the number of people that have seen the various thank you pages for the contact us, for the refund of initial assessment, for the download of a free guide, for the discounted dental health check, for the free consultation. Because we put a value in for all of those, it can tell you what that total goal value was. In this instance, over the period of a month was 3,000. Was it a month? Yes, it's a month. £3,825. We're also running goals in this instance for phone calls and for clicking to email us because we've got events tracked, but that's a whole different webinar. We're not going to be looking at that in this instance. And what you can do is you can import those goals into Google Analytics. So if you import those goals into Google Analytics, into Google AdWords, you will see them appear. Now, if I just go back a few slides, so I'm going to go to, if I just go back a few slides, you will see that on my screen that I had here. So these are our conversions that we've set up in Google AdWords, and we've imported them from Google Analytics, the discounted dental health check, the free consult, the refund of initial assessment. And what Google AdWords will then do is it will say, we showed an advert to this person. This was the search term that they typed, and this is what they did. This is the goal that they went through to do. They went through to the free consultation. So we can then say we've spent X amount on Google AdWords, and it's led us to these free consultations or refund of initial assessment or take up the Invisalign offer, etc., etc. So it just means we can track all of those adverts on our website by linking Google Analytics, by linking in the goals on Google Analytics, by creating the funnel in Google Analytics, and then by looking in Google Analytics and looking in Google AdWords for those goals that have been triggered. So wow, boy, have we got through an awful lot. We've looked at creating a basic campaign, setting up a campaign, putting in your advert extensions, so extensions to the request an appointment page, perhaps to the offers page, having the advert extensions for calling, for message extensions, for location extensions, optimizing for location. So once you've created your advert, you let your advert run for a couple of weeks, you go back into Google AdWords, you click on the locations tab, you look at your multiple locations you're running your adverts for and see which ones are working best, increase your bid adjustment for that one. Then you go into the devices tab, you see which devices are working best, increase your bid adjustment for each of those devices. You do the same for age and for gender. You then look at optimizing, so you go to key terms, keyword search terms. You click on the search terms tab, you see what search terms that your advert has been shown for, and you have a look through to see, are any of these actually inappropriate? So for example, you saw the dental implants one that had been shown for an Invisalign ad. That is actually appropriate. Tick on that, add it to a negative keyword, and you won't be shown for that keyword anymore. Then we looked at tracking conversions. So to track conversions, you need to set those conversions up. So if it's a free consult, you have the free consultation page, you have a form on there for them to fill in that free consult. Once they fill in that free consult, it bounces them off to a thank you page. That is your goal. Put the goal into Google Analytics, and then you can import that analytics goal into Google AdWords and have AdWords and analytics working together so you can see that full reporting of what's going on. Now, as ever, any questions, post them in the comments below and I will answer. Give us a call, send us an email. I'm always happy to help. So what's happening? Up next, we're going to be looking at blogging, how you can use blogging to attract new patients to your dental practice. Blogging is mega important and actually really simple and really easy to do. And we're going to be looking at that on Thursday, the 14th of June, again, live here on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in 1 month's time. Take care now. Bye.